Hey everybody, how you doing? Just getting myself all adjusted. I gotta admit that it's definitely a nice, humid, hot day, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are experiencing it. Excuse me. Um, yeah, so you're gonna hear a little bit of the fan going on and stuff. I mean, that's all good. That's all right. I got my shades down, try to block out a lot of the sunlight, so the lighting's a little different here in my room, in my studio. Excuse me. But that's cool. We make this stuff work, right? Any way you can. So give me a few minutes, and uh, and then we can get on to the fun stuff. Let's see. I'm gonna do a little bit of sharing and stuff, just to get myself all situated. I hope everyone's doing good. Staying cool, and keeping that outflow going. So all right. So let's see. I'm gonna send a couple. Today I am going to be working on the second part of the commission that that I had mentioned in my previous uh, live stream. It is going to be sketch card related. Actually, it's going to be a sketchbook. So it's going to be fun. A little bit different and stuff. So if you're someone who is into sketch cards, well, let's see, fix that. If you're into sketch cards and stuff like that, yeah, it might be a nice little watch. You know, just the inking stage. I actually wrapped up the inking for this big guy, as you can see right here, and I will be posting that video later, much later. Actually, after I do the live stream and stuff, so you guys can see that on my YouTube channel and stuff. And definitely, I was very happy. The client saw it and was very, very happy with it. And that's always good. You always want a happy client. So let's see. What else? What else is going on? What else is going on? Well, staying busy. The art flow is going pretty good. I'm definitely still jazzed. I can't wait to start working on Kajus and Cowboys. I'm going to be talking with Matthew tomorrow. Got to do some errands first, and then I'm going to talk to him later in the day, and we'll just start going over what our game plan is, because that's the most important thing. We have this. When you have this concept and you're working on it, and you're a team and stuff. Communication is the key thing. It's something that I've learned over the years. You have to communicate. You have to be able to share thoughts and ideas, and hopefully both people, the writer and the artist, are on the same page, and that their energies are united to get to one endeavor, and that endeavor is to ensure that the product is the best that both of them can achieve, and that what they're putting out there is going to be something that will be received by people on a positive note. you know that's all I really when I do any of my work, I look at it like there has to be a level where you got to feel like I've given 200%, and and not in the sense of whether or not everyone's going to like it or not. It's just the fact that I know that I gave my 200%, and that's all, and that's what I could do. And the next time I'll give whatever, and the next percentage needed to for that particular art piece. But yeah, I don't. I'm in that old school way of thinking with art work, that art is subjective, and that you have to have your voice. Not everyone likes a certain sound. Not everyone likes a certain food. Not everyone likes a certain way of clothing or a certain color or whatever. That's the nature of humanity. That is how people are. Fine, that's good. So the thing is that you, as the individual, as the artist, you have to establish what is your voice, and that voice being, if you're the writer and you're writing literature, or the artist, or you're doing visual imagery, or 3D work or whatever, you have to find what your voice is and put your voice out there, and then certain people will gravitate toward it, and they may dig it, and then other people may not dig it, and that's fine. I mean, you gotta, if you factor in numbers, and I mean, don't do it to the point where it drives you insane. But if you factor it in, there's billions of people on this planet. So I mean, boy, even if you got like 100 people to like your stuff, that's actually pretty good. In my picture, I look at that, like if 100 people dig my stuff, then I'm a happy camper, you know. And then you start kicking up the higher numbers, then you go, whoa, okay, whoo. So, you know, hell, you even get 10 people that like your stuff. That's a great thing. So anyway, all right, I think I'm getting ready. I think I've shared. If you're listening to this, please feel free to share this post. If it's somebody that if you think that's going to be interested in what I'm doing or hopefully get inspired by all means, feel free to share. You know, I do these things. My YouTube channel, as I've said in previous videos, is my portfolio. You know, back in the day when I first was working and doing the hustle and bustle in the trenches, going to agencies or production studios or whatever, I carried around a big old portfolio, and then eventually that portfolio turned into a binder with, you know, tear sheets on it and all that fun stuff. But anyway, I had a portfolio, and I had to go around and I had to showcase it to art buyers or art directors or creative directors or whatever. Well, now that we have technology, you know, I was fascinated by the idea of just, you know, there's thousands of tutorials on YouTube, and I would suggest that if you're learning and you're an amateur artist, that you should definitely look on there. There's a lot of fantastic artists on there, talented artists that know what they're doing, that have been in the trenches, that they've been in the game for a bit, and they are spitting out some truth. So I suggest you get on there, and if you're truly looking to try to make this your career path, go on there. There's a lot of tutorials, because back in the day there weren't tutorials. There were, but they were in books. You had to actually pick up a book, go out and get a book, read it, and so forth. And if you got fortunate enough and you came across an artist who had the time to be able to perhaps, you know, tutor you a little bit or mentor you, then you were a very fortunate person. But now the technology's here. I say utilize that technology, and that technology is, you know, the video. So YouTube has a lot of tutorial videos. My channel is not a tutorial video kind of channel. My channel is me showcasing my portfolio, the pieces of work that I do professionally for various clients, you know. And actually, it's kind of funny because I think that now it's like, I don't know if I started something, but now mostly clients are really intrigued. Like they want to see if I'm going to do a video or whatever. I will say that I won't probably do a lot of videos for every client assignment that I do, because it takes a lot, you know. And the thing about it is, you know, I'm an artist first. There's always this thing inside of me where you know, when I made the decision to go down this career path, I knew that when my time comes, I want to be known as an artist, not as a personality, not as anything else. I'm not a video guy. I'm not anything like that. I'm just an artist. I'm a person who embraces the idea of creating artwork. I'm a commercial illustrator for clients. It gets out there and people see it, and then boom, 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 I move on to the next adventure. So that would be my thing at the end of days for me, hopefully, if I'm known for. But anyway, that's how my channel is. So if you happen to go to my channel and you know, and hear what I'm saying or whatever, and it sparks or ignites some kind of artistic fire that's already sort of simmering with you, then I'm very happy. And please comment. Please let me know. You know, I don't mind comment. Actually, I don't. I comment back and stuff like that to anyone who comments. If you're a spammer, you're not gonna get a comment. That's just period. You're a spammer, so that ain't happening. But you know, I ain't gonna. You know, the post is there, so fine. You know, you can leave your comment. But you know, I'm just here in the sense of, you know, just to show you that it's not all doom and gloom. It's about having that dream and following the course and just not giving up and asking yourself, how passionate, how much do I want this? And that's for you to answer that question. That's for you to put a mirror right there on that art table and then look into that mirror and be truly honest with what are you searching for? What do you want to get out of whatever you want out of this life that you have before you? So anyway, with that said, Let's get this party going. The jams are flowing. I'm feeling good. I'm gonna take a swig of my green tea. The lemon, it says green tea lemon inside of it. So, and let's get this party going. So anyway, Saturday, I did this 9x12. This is the one of the commissions. This was actually the first. This was the first from the client. They wanted a 9x12 of Devastator fighting Defensor. And then it's a black and white, and I'm going to be adding some gray tone to it and stuff to sort of fill it out. And I actually contacted them just to make sure if they wanted me to put gray tone on it, because you know it's good to check, because you never know, somebody could look at a black and white and go, oh, I just want the black and white or whatever. So it's good to always keep your communication open with a client. But anyway, I wrapped it up, and I will be posting the final video for this, the inking, a little later. Well, after this, after I do this live stream, then I'll definitely take a few minutes and then post that up so people can sort of see the process on that one. But anyway, it is now, the inking stage is completed for this one. Now I'm going to move on to the next inking assignment, which is, boom, 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 drum roll. It's going to be this sketch booklet card. Now, in my previous video, oops, got upside down, sorry about that. In my previous video, I had mentioned that, in really short, it was like this was something that was custom made for me by a person who wanted to do an art trade, and they made me two different, actually they made two different sketch card booklets for me, custom, and then they ended up giving me this one. And I've always had this one sort of sitting there, but I was just like, oh man, you know, it's just sitting there, and I've already got the ones I want. So I was like, okay, fine, maybe I'll put it up. And this particular client, who's you know, an awesome client and stuff, I put it up there, and they said, boom, I want it. And I loved it. It was just like, boom, that I want that. So he came to me and he said, hey, look, I want Optimus Prime fighting Megatron. And I said, okay, cool. But he said, I don't know how else you want to, what else you want to do with it, Frank, you know, for the outside. So I said, okay, well, you know, you've given me the starting point. Now let me see if I can finish this race. And so I started off and I did the classic scene with these two guys facing themselves. But in my head, I began thinking of the G1 Transformers episode. Well, first one, I think it was the very first episode when you see the famous battle, and then the two ships, the Ark and the Nemesis, crash to Earth, and then the story kind of starts. Well, I took that idea, but then I also loved the scene in Transformers the movie, the animated movie, where you saw so many of the Autobots. Unfortunately, they perished on the ship. So you see this battle on the ship and stuff like that, and they're perishing. And so I said, okay, you know what, Frank, because this is who you are, I'm going to do an amalgam of that. And so you got this scene where it's almost as, you know, they got the battle, Nemesis has them in the tractor beam, and then all of a sudden you see the body sort of floating and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff going, a lot of information going on here that once I start inking should actually explain a lot of stuff. Now, actually, what I'm going to do is, which I forgot, but I'm going to go grab it real quick, is I'm going to grab one of my Statler colored pens. And actually, I have them actually over here. I thought because I'm going to be putting some blue down for Optimus Prime's blast. So I'm just going to be focusing on the interior art today, because, you know, Optimus Prime is cool and Megatron's cool, and I'm just thinking that that's what people may want. So I'm going to grab out, oh, that's a green one. Oh boy, whew, so warm. So these are my, these are Statler Tri-Plus fine liners, and I tend to use these if I want to show like energy or whatever and stuff, beams and whatever color. Because these are, mind you, these are going to be color when I'm all done. So that's going to be pretty fun. So the first thing I'm going to do is, let's see, boom, boom, boom. Oh, I think I mentioned before that I am when I do these, my art and stuff, I'm a little more chaotic. I have stuff lying all around and stuff. And I don't know, in that madness and that chaos, I find order. So the technique I'm going to do right here, let me see if I can get some more light on this. Hopefully you guys can see it. Yeah, as I said before, as I started this, is that it's really warm out, And so I have my fan going on, but I also have my shades closed just to cut down on the sunlight coming in to heat up the room. So anyway, I'm gonna do a little dab on this. The dab is to knock back the lead on these pencils. It would be almost to the level of like you think of if you're doing like what is it, a tracing. But I've already drawn these, so really just using the kneaded eraser, the kneaded eraser, just to tap back on it, just to lighten it up a little bit. All right. I want to also, I want to thank you for coming by and for checking out this video, and please feel free to comment. Because I'm drawing and stuff like that, I tend to focus on the drawing, and then afterwards I'll comment or stuff. Or if I do see a comment and I take a little break to drink some fluids, then I'll respond. And that's it, pretty much. All right, so we'll knock that back just a little bit. All right. Okay. Okay, what we got here? So let's get going with this party. All right, so I'm gonna pull out, now I have some, I think I'm gonna go with I usually start off with my 01, and I broke a new one open yesterday. So let me grab my straight edge. Hopefully you guys can see this. All right. And actually, you know what? I'm going to, it's always something. I'm going to knock a little bit more, because when they hit, I want to have like this kind of, hit it a little bit more. Hit it up a little bit. Let's pull out some of this. I'm going to grab a red one too this time. So I have like this sort of chaos red energy kind of coming off. I love doing this effect. It's just kind of like you're just going and you're just adding this all right. And it's so funny, like, you know, when I asked him, he just said, oh, he said, Frank, just go crazy with it, man. You know, he's like, I don't have any idea. And then that opened the door for me to really get in there, and you know, because I had the first idea, and then I was like, oh man, but I love that scene from the film and stuff, and I just saw this image in my head of just the bodies kind of floating out and stuff in the space. It's always kind of, you know, so just a weird amalgam, a little mixture. You know, I'm in the belief that, you know, you can. It's always good to kind of have fun with it, and hopefully if you can enhance on it. So I'm gonna make his beam like a blue beam, and then all right. That little bitty Kirby crackle. I'm addicted to doing the Kirby crackle. I am addicted. All right. I know this is one of those strange days, but you know, of me to be trying to do a live stream and stuff, but you know, why not? There's no rules. I'm not paying when it comes to doing artwork and whatever and things. You do it when it feels good, man. You know? Right. Yeah, this nice new one is really nice. All right. Yeah, these booklets. Again, like I've said in previous videos, I wish that the person who did this would I don't even, you know, hopefully they can see these and be like, yep, I'm the dude who did it. Because I have no clue who did this. But I would like to thank them. I mean, thank them for their the offer that they gave me to you know, to do this, and I'm glad that I accepted it. I'm glad I wasn't in a state of mind where I was just like, I don't know, I don't want that kind of thing, you know. All right, because it's really nice. I mean, I think Optimus's gun is, I think it's black, but I'm not gonna put too many shadows on it. All right. Optimus Prime. It's pretty cool that they're the next one's gonna have like the Maximals and the Predacons. I'm just curious to see how that's gonna be. I'm assuming that they're gonna have them look like real animals and stuff, and then you see the mechanical parts come out. That's my assumption, but we'll see. All right. There's something about drawing. Oh, I've been so conditioned now to draw at this small size. I find it enjoyable. You know, it's so much more easier. I've been doing it for so long now. Even though occasionally I do have some bigger, my standard 10 by 15 or slash 11 by 17 pieces of artwork, but those pieces always seem like, again, in my mind, I look at them in more static artwork. I just go, okay, that's a static piece, a one-off kind of thing. But I look at these things and the smaller stuff, and the smaller images tend to be, in my opinion, like storyboards. You know, they have more of a fluidity to them that I really enjoy. Oh boy, I cannot wait. I can't wait to see. It's always an interesting thing because me and Matthew chatted a few times about well, he sent me an overview of where he wants to take the story for Kajis and Cowboys, and you know, and so it's kind of, until you actually get that script in your hand and get to read it, that's where the real joy comes, you know. Then I can start thinking about the thumbnailing stage and just, you know. I don't know if this is going to be as long as a video as the one I did on Saturday. That was almost 3 hours 44 minutes, shy of 4 hours. But it was a big piece too. That was a pretty good piece. So you can imagine, like if I was doing one of my 11 by 17 pieces, oh boy, that would have took a minute. Probably been like, yeah, I don't even know. It would definitely take another bit. Nice and slow, nice and easy. What I may do is I'm gonna give Megatron almost like a, so maybe there's a purple thing, like maybe he's firing, like it's weird. In my mind, I'm thinking like they're just coming in and they're just going at it. These two combatants. All right. That's why it's good to sort of take away a little bit of the lead, because then it can You don't want to try to affect the the micron, the ink in the micron and stuff. So let me come in and I'm just gonna dab it a little bit with the Pentel. Yeah, maybe I'll go in a little bit more, huh? Break that up a little bit. I ended up, on my other video, I mentioned that I ended up getting some new brushes. They're actually model brushes for painting figures, and I saw them on they had the Prime Day and stuff, and I saw them and I said, man, those are kind of cool, man. You know, it's so small, so maybe, you know, maybe I can find a use for them, you know. As I said in other videos, I've said like how I'm such a hoarder when it comes to art tools and stuff like that. I'm always, you know, there's always something, a new kind of tool where you can go, oh, you know, that's kind of interesting. Let me play around with that. All right, probably go back over that. Yeah, the lead in it. It's like a film kind of. Not too bad, but I'm definitely getting a little bit of it. That happens. But overall, the cardstock is amazing. What the cardstock that the person that uses is amazing. It really does hold ink really well. I'm just happy. It's funny. This has been sort of like the well, since last year, but really the year of just going through a lot of these old things. Like even the sketch covers that I've had in auctions. Those are just things that have been sitting there for a few years, and I really didn't. I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with these. And then all of a sudden, these online auctions kicked up, and bingo bango, I'm able to utilize them. So it's a lot of art. I've worked on a lot of different projects and stuff, so I still got a ton of artwork. A lot of cool stuff. Little dabs there. All right. I'm gonna clean you up a little bit. Just a little. All right. I had to put my do-rag on today, man. Hair's getting really long. The dreads. So they get in the face. I love them, but they get nonsense. Nightmare sometimes. Pull out I don't think Jess wants me to cut these babies. I had dreads before. This is my second time having dreadlocks, and I would say this time around I'm much more mindful of them. First time around I wasn't as mindful, and then I had a lot of breakage, and then finally I just got so like tired of like my dreads breaking. I just was like, I'm done. I went bald, and I'd been bald before too. Bald doesn't fit me. Let me just say that. Being bald, it always killed me because I've always dreamt of having a fat fro, but my hair doesn't grow like that. Like when the way it is with dreads, my hair grows crazy, like long. But to try to grow an afro, no. I know this is like a weird conversation, but it just popped up in my head, man. I just started thinking about that, going, yeah, I got my do-rag on. I used to wear my do-rag a lot, and because it's hot and stuff, get that sweat out the face. But yeah, and you start talking about hair. But yeah, it's so funny how that is. Like I would look at people with fat afros, man, and I'm like, man, that's got that afro that's unbelievable, and just I can't grow that. It ain't happening for me. It's so frustrating. But then all of a sudden, dreadlocks. I had a mohawk. I had a mohawk when I want to say like back when I was in high school. I had a mohawk, had earrings, tons of earrings, chains around my neck. Oh yeah, I did that. I did all that crazy stuff. The fat chain. It's funny, man. Just tripping that I'm gonna be like 51 this year. That's crazy. But I can honestly say
this has been the best time. Like my artwork, I'm just like on fire with art. And it's been a few years since I've really felt like that sense of just like draw like a madman, and really happy with the stuff that I'm doing. 'Cause I think that's the key thing for any artist out there. And when I say artist, I'm just saying writer too, and everybody, is that it's that feeling that you reach where you're just like, I'm happy, I'm okay with my artwork, I'm okay with this. You know, that's a great place to be, where you're just like, oh, fine, I'm good. That's where I'm at. Way past the stage. It's been years since I've ever felt that sense of guilt where you go, oh man, when you're overthinking it and stuff, and just like, oh, this isn't the best thing, and you start talking and telling other people, and then you convince them that maybe it isn't the best thing or whatever, and it's like, oh no, I'm so past that. It's been, God, I think I was like that when I first got into art school. But I always feel like it's just almost a weird conditioning in a certain degree. We're almost conditioned to look at some stuff right here. It's almost like we're conditioned to automatically knock down certain things about ourselves. You know, you listen to someone talking, and then you're hoping that they're gonna have something good to say, and then all of a sudden they'll find some kind of negative thing about themselves. Like, oh man. It's like, yeah, I just woke up and stuff, and then all of a sudden, no, I just hate myself. Oh God, I'm a horrible. I can't do anything. It's like, oh dude, I get it. I was there. All right, Optimus. Optimus is cool, man. The Transformers are actually really fun characters to draw. They are. You know, again, as a fan more of the G1 stuff, I love the simplicity, in my opinion, of the design work. It wasn't just over complicated, you know. This was nice, simple, easy, blocky. Like, you know, I'm using this straight edge right here, and it's just straight on, like, boom, rectangle, boom, you know, or whatever, box, square, whatever. It's just, I love that. I'm definitely not into the camp of trying to over complicate things when you don't need to. You know, there's a lot of robots I see now are megs, and I just see a lot of stuff on them, and I go, man, dude, it's like they look. I guess as static artwork, they look great. You know, you do a one-off, boom, you got this piece. All right, I gotta take a second and look on. Got some reference. Something's not jiving with me, so I gotta pop it open. Let's see if I got it open. So make sure. I don't think I had Optimus on there. No, I don't even have Optimus in there. Darn it. Alright, I'm gonna open up another little page over here. Sorry guys. This is actually important because it's kind of like reference is always a great thing to have, and the thing is that we all need reference. I swear by it. You know, I always want to make sure that I have enough reference to do a particular character or whatever. Let's see, I want to do the G1. So right now I'm just doing a quick little search. Because even though I've seen Optimus Prime 1,000 times, there's still certain things where I go, oh man, something right. And I like to double check. I like to make sure I don't leave that open. Okay, cool. Alright, not bad. Okay, I'm on a good path. I just want to make sure that everything's good. Alright, I'm gonna refresh this page, see what's up. Hope everybody's staying nice and cool. You guys can see this. I'm gonna push this up a little further. It looks like this is so far away. Alright, Optimus. And definitely tell me if you guys can't really see this and stuff. Let me know. It's always tough. Like I'm filming this right on my iPhone and stuff, so I got it all positioned in a way where I can't really see a lot of this stuff. So let me know, please. Appreciate it. All right. Oh man. I want to say another thing is that I actually finished watching Godzilla Singular Point. Finally watched that, and yeah, I suppose I'm in the same thing. Like my feeling on it is that the last minutes of it gave me hope for something in the future. So that's all my feeling on it is that it gave me hope for something more different, hopefully. As I always say, I'm glad that the IP itself is showing strength and is doing really good and whatever, and so it's keeping it out there in the forefront into the mindset of the public. So that's a huge plus, because again, I feel that what benefits Godzilla or any of these other kaiju stuff benefits, it trickles somewhat down to the indie guys like myself and others who are doing comics or whatever that are in it, part of this genre as well. And hopefully the fandom can, their gaze can point over into the direction of some of these new indie IPs, because they're just as important as the Big G Man and King Kong or Kong, excuse me, or any of them, Gamera, and it doesn't take away from them. I just think that there's room for more different and newer stuff, because these legacy IPs are fantastic, but it's nice to have something that's a little different and new, where you can kind of build something from it if you're reading it or watching it or something. So it's almost like, again, like for instance, like the Pacific Rim, was it the Pacific Rim Black or whatever on Netflix? I actually enjoyed that. I thought that was really good. It's expanding on that universe, and I thought that was fantastic. Oh boy, going pretty good. It's an interesting kind of Tuesday morning. There's something about sketch cards where it's almost like the stakes are high. They're really high because, you really don't get a lot of opportunity to... a little bit of green tea there. You don't get the opportunity to make a lot of mistakes and redos, you know what I mean? I mean, you can, but then, you're going to end up probably with a piece of art that just has a ton of whiteout on it, and I don't know if people really collect would want to, even any person trying to get it would really want to have a piece of art that's just covered with whiteout. I know I wouldn't. So there's this thing inside where you're kind of forced to make sure that everything is kind of working to a place where it comes together. That's kind of like how I am. Like I said before, and again in other videos where I mentioned, let's see, I mentioned that my getting back into doing much more of my pencil work and stuff for years. I sort of gotten out of it, because doing advertising or commercial work like that was really fast paced. Trying to just pencil just took up time, and that's not what the clients would be looking for. They're just like, well, we want something that's fast, but good. Let me emphasize that fast but good, because it has to be. It has to be something that when the people who they're pitching to, whoever that their client is, sees it. They have to be able to read it. They have to be able to see it. They have to be able to get excited about it, because if it's going to end up being turned into a TV commercial or a print campaign, my job as a commercial illustrator is to ensure that the visuals help sell that, as well as the copy, alongside the copy. So yeah, I'll lose my thought here. You know what it is? This music's just so chilled, man. I love it. It's got me in my brain's like sleep. That's one thing that a lot of young artists. I listened to this YouTube thing when they were talking about professionalism, especially with a lot of young artists, and really it was dealing more with comic book stuff, and they talk about how many of these young artists that are just entering into the field. And when I say young, I'm not saying young in age, but more in the sense of just young to the overall business of commercial, doing commercial art. And commercial art, that commercial art just means artwork that technically you're being paid for, you're getting paid to do and stuff like that. So comic books and storyboards and all that stuff, kind of, they're on that wheelhouse. So anyway, they were talking about it and how the fact that I think many people kind of, they see all these artists that they really like. They go, man, I really like this person drawing, they're posting and stuff like that. But I think that they're missing the big picture that the people like myself who are posting and showing our stuff, we most likely have been in this for a couple of years, doing this. So what you're seeing is just years of just, the grind of working, doing artwork, and going through all those various experiences of deadlines. That was a key component, which I really enjoy. See, I love when there are your videos and stuff. Like I love, when people are joking around. I think that's great. But there's a part of me too where, I look at this. This is a very serious thing to me. I look at my career as it's not something that, that is this about humor. It's about the fact of, I wouldn't laugh if somebody was talking about, doing mechanic work or whatever. I wouldn't sit there and be like, oh yeah, whatever, dude, and kind of pass it off. I'd be like, yeah, that's some serious stuff. You're working on making sure this vehicle is running. It's such and such. Same thing like construction. So the thing is that sometimes I think in the humor that a lot of great information is getting lost in some delivery. So anyway, as they were talking about it, they're bringing up the point about how many of these really, and it's clearly they're talented artists. There's nothing wrong with that. But the major issue is that there are a lot of talented artists that don't work. And that's been said by many pros before. I think even Todd McFarlane said something to that nature, where he's like, the thing about it is that it's not about really the most talented artists. It's in most cases, most big time clients or companies are looking for someone who can do the job, and get the job done, make it look good, but get the job done. Those are the artists that work. Those artists work because they get the job done and they can do a decent job. Now, they may not be as strong as somebody who, whatever their skill set is. That other person is, maybe really, really just tremendous artist. But that tremendous artist may be lacking something. And whatever they're lacking, it could be the speed, the capability of understanding deadlines, or just even the ability of working with people. Because that's another key thing too. I mean, as much as if you feel really passionate about my feelings toward whatever, so it's like if you're working for a company or working for a client, You know, you're literally asking someone to pay you, and you're somehow saying, okay, well, still accept the fact of, you know, if I happen to have a personality that might greatly differ. I'm not saying even in the fact that you may have a personality where you say, okay, I don't agree with you or whatever, but you can still, you know, do the job or whatever. I'm talking about like a personality that's just so just out there, man, that person can't even work with you. That's then, you know, then they have to look at their bottom line and go, okay, I don't know if this person is one that we can use. That's up to that client, you know. They got every right to do that. I guess that when I got into it, I got into the working in the art industry. I kind of had a lot of expectations of how things were, like in a sense, like I looked at it more in a realistic kind of standpoint. I was like, well, you know, if I act a certain way, then I know that if I didn't get that job, or because of whatever, if I was late or whatever, or this late even going to a job, whatever, then I can't look and point fingers. I can only look at myself as being the reason. Or even hypothetically, if somebody didn't want me on a job or whatever, I don't know, because in my case, I would always be like searching for other stuff anyway. My mindset was always like, there's another adventure around the corner. I just gotta find it. But I always, you know, when I work with clients, like, you know, I would always be respectful and professional. And so that's kind of like what they were talking about, the fact of how professionalism and how like some of these new artists, I think they struggle with it, the sense of deadlines and even communication, basic communication, which is fascinating to me. You know, especially when you think about the technology, you go, man, we got this great technology. Like I grew up in a time when you had to go chase a phone call, man, like landlines. Like I remember that. You know, and now you have the technology to be able to send an email to somebody across the sea at like record speeds. I mean, it's just crazy to me. And it's like, if you can't communicate and you have that technology, then I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. So that and the idea of deadlines. If I was to ever say something to anybody, I would say you really need to respect deadlines. You really do. There should never be like if your excuse is that you couldn't work on something, it really has to be a really super like a solid excuse. It can't be something where you're just like just saying it, whatever, you know, like I can't get this done or no. Because then that puts that person, that client or whatever, in a situation where, you know, what are they supposed to do? But anyway, it was a really good listen to. I find that that's what I do as I'm drawing. As you see here, I tend to listen to various different things because it's important. I mean, I'm always one of the greatest things about it is that you have to keep kind of what are we doing here? All right. It's always tricky when you're doing these little things. You don't want to stop learning. You know, there's a lot of stuff. There's stuff that I'm constantly looking at various artists and stuff that they're sending out or whatever. That's how you get better. You learn certain things. Certain things, yeah, you know, certain things you may look at and go, I don't need that. I'm fine with that. But other stuff you go, that's something that I could use. So. All right. How's that looking? I said, let me get back to my screen. Always so nervous that I'm drawing off screen. You guys gotta let me know. That's the worst. Like all of a sudden the video's like low at the bottom and like I'm talking and I'm just like in my own little world and it's Hopefully the fan's not too loud for you either. I'm sure the music is at a good tempo, so that it's kind of blocking the fan. But oh, the fan feels good. Yeah, it's been really like a scorcher. And yeah, and I know it's like I know other areas are getting hit much more harder. So my heart, my heart goes out to those people. Stay safe if you can. Go to safe areas. Just be careful. It's just brutal. You got the touch. All right, I won't do it. That's the problem. What happens, and I'm sure I'm not the only artist that does it. Boy, when you start drawing and your mind is just flowing, and it's just like, oh man, you start singing and thinking of all kinds of stuff. That's what I mean. Even as I'm sitting here drawing this with Optimus, I'm just like, the song is beating in my head. I can feel it. Oh, it's incredible. Okay. And I wanted to show him like kind of beaten up and stuff like that. So you put these little stress lines. That's one thing that I would say that I expect this when I do Kajus and Cowboys. Our hero, yeah, he's not like nigh invincible or whatever. He gets his butt handed to him, and I love characters like that. I feel like those are the kind of characters I remember as a kid, even like watching westerns or whatever. It's just, characters that can, they need to get their butt kicked so that then they can grow. They can almost be like, okay. I guess for me, my favorite character I would say is Ben Grimm. He's the epitome of that in my mind. Like the person he'll just keep fighting. Captain America, that kind of mentality. I'm not giving up. I can do this all day kind of mentality. I like that. We end up watching pretty much all the way up to phase 4. We watched them all, and I just that scene where when Thanos is after the battle, like he's fighting in Wakanda and stuff, and he's fighting Captain America, and man, that one scene where he just looks at him, like Captain America's trying to push him back, his hand back, and you just see him straining and stuff, but he's not giving up. And then Thanos looks at him, and just that look was so powerful. Like, he's like, this dude is just like, man, was he crazy? He's still fighting me, still fighting. And then Thanos just punches him and knocks him out, just punches him right in the face, knocks him out. But that one moment he's looking at him, and he's just like, man, this dude is not giving up. I like that. I like characters like that. I'm not a big fan of characters that are so overly powerful. Even as powerful as Galactus is, he has his weakness. And I love that, man. His hunger. You got him. And just the fact that he can be tricked. Like Reed Richards tricked in the original. Reed Richards tricked him. No, actually, excuse me. What's his name? Uta, the Watcher, had Johnny Storm go get the ultimate nullifier and stuff. But they technically fooled him. Just something as simple as that. But I love that stuff. I don't feel like you need to have a insane amount of powers. I don't know. That to me is not enjoyable. I don't feel like I could really do much with that, honestly, if I was drawing. But I could do a lot with a character who has limited capabilities. Because then if they have limited capability, that means that's the fun part for me, is trying to think of ways to make the scene exciting and fun and whatever, And I plan on, in my head, I'm planning on some really crazy angles. The bot with no name, the Hunter bot. We still haven't decided on a final name for him. But I definitely, he just, I can't even describe it. I just want to get my hands on those pages. I just want to get hands on that script and just start tearing it apart. But I'm also mindful of the fact of my partner, in a sense, and his need to get his mind where he needs to get to so he can write the best story that he can. So I respect that. Plus, stuff like this keeps me a little busy, That's cool, right? I want to thank you, the people that have come by and hanging out and stuff. Thank you very much. I knew that Tuesday would be a very unorthodox kind of day, but you know, that's the thing about Frankie B, man. About me, I just kind of, I do my thing, man. Whatever feels good, I do it. I'm not gonna stress it. It doesn't help to be stressed out about stuff, man. Overthinking things, man. I used to be like that, but nah. Try not to. We all have our slips. I remember when I was in therapy and stuff. I had a fantastic therapist, and they just he was just a chill dude, man. He just was kind of like, he's like, Frank, there's always going to be those holes in life that you're going to fall into, but you just got to make sure that you don't fall too deep, and that you got a ladder ready so you can climb out of it. And it's true. It really is true. Try not to get too hung up about stuff, especially when it's beyond your control too. Don't get sidetracked and stuff. Try to remember what makes you happy. And that was always an emphasis that my therapist focused on. He was like, well, what makes you happy? And for the longest time, I thought I knew what would make me happy, but I didn't. Sure, many of us are out there. We struggle with that. What makes you happy? And you start looking at a lot of material things, and you go, yeah, that makes me happy. Yeah, that's the party and drinking with my friends and stuff like that. Yeah, I did all that stuff. I was a hardcore collector. I just collected stuff, and I ended up going through that phase where I just had to purge myself of a lot of my stuff. I used to collect tons of figures and stuff and swords. I was in this whole big sword thing for a period back in the 90s. Yeah, I was buying swords all over the place, like knives. And it's weird. I don't even know why I did it. I really can't even say why I was doing it. I just was doing it, just buying it. And then when it finally came down to when I went to this revelation about myself, I just was like, why do I have this crap? I ended up giving stuff to people. Purging myself. I had a ton of comic books at one point, and I just gave those up. I had a ton of action figures, especially I know from the Justice League. I had a ton of those from the first, was it Justice League Unlimited? That whole line of figures and stuff. I used to have a ton of those, and I'm giving those away. I don't even think I have anything left from those. I was obsessed with those, but just the design, the Bruce Timm stuff. But I just stuff stopped. The stuff stopped having any true meaning for me for a period, and I just was like, all right, why am I doing this? So now when I look at stuff now, I kind of I'm at the stage of my life where I kind of live vicariously through other people, part of some groups that they're collectors, and I like looking at collectors and their stuff, and I kind of live vicariously through them. I mean, also the price for some of these figures, I just gotta say, it's astronomical. I mean, honestly, if you're collecting robots and stuff like that, then that's cool, because if that's your thing, and you have the available funds to do it, then more power to you. There's worse things you can. I always say there's worse things you can be doing. So yeah, so I'm definitely not talking in that framework. I know for myself, I just can't do it. I look at something and I go, okay, and next thing I know, I'm like, yeah, but a bill has to get paid. I cannot justify spending $400 or $500 for something that most likely is going to sit in a box. I got a lot of unliked figures still sitting in boxes. I just don't have the room to take them out, and they just kind of sitting in the closet, So I live vicariously through others, That's cool. It's almost like, you get to see what they got, and you get to enjoy it when they do. I love these individuals who are doing these unboxing videos and stuff, and they unboxing stuff. I think that's really cool. That's again, like, I feel like they're giving a service for people who can't afford these figures that are super expensive to some. I mean, when you start talking, even like, I feel honestly, if you start kicking over into like, even like 200 and up, let's just say 200 and up, then that's some serious. That's hardcore collecting on a level that's like, man, you start getting those numbers and it starts going up and up. Because you can think about $200 for a figure. You know, $200, man. So when you start going up on the numbers, then it's like, yeah, at that point, then I think that it's great that there are people out there who are willing to show what they have, so that other people can at least enjoy it in some small measure. You know, and also kudos to those companies that are doing figures that are more priced for people to actually purchase them too. You know, that's an important thing. Optimus Prime. Boy, look at that guy. I did that just straight on black, man. All right. God, I love when the Pentel brush pen is on these. These just straight on, just black. I love it. All right. Whew. Now I know that I'm gonna add some more crack lines once I start doing the coloring and stuff. So this is far from done, but this is how the inking stage is, you know. Process. Nice and slow. Thought about breaking open the old inkwell, but yeah, I wanted to give myself a little rest from it, you know. I did a lot of stuff on the inkwell, so you know what? I'm gonna do my name in. I'll do my name in red, maybe. Oh, actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna change that. And see, this is what happens with me, because immediately I get an idea and I go, okay, let me just change it up. So we'll do a little electricity over here, thicken that line so we get a sense that it's gotten bigger, you know, much more close than further. And then I'm gonna assign it right in here. Okay. All right, let's see what we got. Okay. You got the touch. All right. Now, the reason why I have this paper underneath, as you can imagine, it's always good to sort of test your brushes and stuff. You know, like these, it's weird with the humidity and stuff like that. I want to be extra careful. Like this one right here has a tip, just isn't that sharp for me. So I have another one over here. And it's a little bit better, but I got a feeling I have to break another new one out. I love this feathering effect. I am addicted to it. I love the feathering. Alright. Yeah, doing sketch cards, it can be definitely an adventure, because the thing is that you're definitely committed to it. You know, you do not want to have a lot of mistakes when you're doing sketch cards. You know, that's what makes it so exciting, though, to me. I look at it and I go, oh yeah, because you know, when you're working on them, you just want to make sure that what you're laying down is, you know, you don't want to have too many accidents. All right, and they're just great. I've said before in previous videos, I'm just overjoyed by the fact of seeing so many, especially in the indie market, a lot of campaigns, crowdfunding is where I'm starting to see people who are just like bringing out, yeah, it's really, yeah, see now it's kind of like the head, a lot of the, because it's so warm, it's starting to bleed out a little bit more, but that's okay, I caught that. You're starting to see a lot of people in their campaigns doing sketch cards, you know, and that makes me very happy. I can't even tell you how happy that makes me, because it's something that I feel that's important. I think the sketch cards have an important factor as well. Okay, we got stand up. I'm gonna grab some. Let's see. I'm gonna grab some orange in there. And this is what happens when you don't. I should have considered the colors beforehand, but it was last minute. I just was like, okay, nope, can't find my purple one. Oh, there you go. I found it. I think I got a lighter purple, a lavender maybe. Yeah, that might work. Oh, that's a pink. The pink might work. Yeah, it's almost a neon pink. That might work in there. This is all about experimentation and not being afraid. You got to get in there and see what magic you can create. So now I'm going to jump across here, and I'm going to. I've always like I said, I've said in previous ones, I loved how Megatron. Well, the Decepticons, they had purple. So I tend to, when I draw them, I think of just just their purple, So this little scenario right here, I'm just showing like almost a cross beam, something so ridiculous, but it's almost like he's got his beam, he's firing his thing, and he's firing his thing. You're catching this moment where they're both firing at the same time. And I've always, when I think of just Megatron's voice, Frank Welker's voice, and he's just like, Prime, Prime. Yeah, I can't even do it. I'm not even attempt to. It's just great, man. Oh, here, let me see if I can get the Decepticon logo. Megatron. Now, when you're drawing this small and stuff like that, you just be conscious of the fact that since it's so small, you just want to just get, and this is something I learned in advertising, it's just, you just want to get like the main amount of information so that someone visually looks at it, they can go, okay, that's the logo. I don't beat myself up about trying to get it so perfect. I mean, again, that's the difference where in working in commercial art, where it's just like you're not fixated on like this has to be super perfect. You're just like, okay, I gotta get the job done. Yeah, the purple looks pretty good, huh? So what you do, you sort of beat it into what I used to call beat it into the other color. Well, they have blenders, but see, I used to use the technique of just taking color and blending. And I will admit that it ruined a lot of markers, but I always felt the effects. I always found like I found some interesting stuff that came out of it. So, they're just certain things. Every artist has their take on a certain tool or device and stuff, and All right, put the color in there. Yeah. A little bit of this in here, a little bit of lavender. Right? See how that looks? Just to kind of put that in there. The good thing about these thick booklets is that the bleeding. I mean, this is a pretty thick one. There you go. Get it in there. So, see how thick that is? Look at that. It's beautiful. There's no bleed on the other side, so it's really good. I'm making great time, by the way. So, all right. Just watching. Dan Moss is. Hey everyone, Clinton, Dan Moss. Hey, what's going on? Glad you stopped by. As I was saying earlier, it's a very awkward time. I decided to do this. This was one of those last minute things. I just said, you know what? I want to do another Facebook Live because they're fun. I'm starting to get people on my channel who are talking about these, and they really like it. That makes me feel really good. Like, cause again, it's that part where they're just like, man, I see this, and and this is inspiring me, and that's good. That's it's not about like, how many if I want my channel to get monetized or all that stuff. I'm not a YouTube personality. Far from it. I'm an artist. I do my art. You come on, you see the art. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, okay, no problem. not gonna be the end of the world for me. It's not gonna be the end of the world for you. You have other tastes, and there's a lot of. The good thing about it is so many various other artists out there. So I'm definitely not a person who tries to complicate things with, whatever, trying to convince people to like my stuff or whatever. If you like it, you like it, But I will say that I'm definitely a person who is not afraid to get out there and make myself known. I'll be that cat that's on the left side of the field while everyone's looking on the right side at stuff going on. I'm gonna be on the left side with a big sign yelling, "Hey, what's up?" You at least are gonna hear me as I'm shouting on that other side to at least get your attention. And then I just put it in the hands of fate or destiny, just to see whether or not you'll take that chance and come on over and see what I'm offering. Something exciting about that. Because you just don't know. You don't know. You don't know what people like until they let you know. Everyone has different flavors. All right. Change that. Yeah, I doubt this one's gonna take as long. Looking pretty good, making some great time. It's 9:31. Woohoo! So making some great time. At first, I was thinking of doing the big one, the 9x12 piece, and just going, okay, I'm gonna do markers and do a video with that with the markers. But then I just said, you know what? Just I've worked in this field for so long, and so I was like, Frank, your gut feeling is that you should just get the inking out the way. It's a process. So get the inking out the way, then you don't have to worry about it. You don't have to worry about the inking. Once it's done, it's done. Then you can just focus when it's time for coloring. Then you can just focus on coloring. I used to always try to explain that to you when I would work on some comic project, especially with sequentials and stuff. I would always be like, you're talking to a client, and they're just like, the one that gets me is the one where they go, hey, can you just send pages to me and stuff like that? And I'm like, yeah, but that kind of affects the assembly line mentality. It's like, ideally you want to be able to get stuff in a big batch instead of like, one off one day and you send something. Ideally you want to get stuff in big batches, because now you can have it in a big batch, and then if there's going to be edits, then they can get the edits instead of like, okay, you send one page and they got to edit it. Now you can be in this great groove working on some other pages, and then now the tempo is going to change because that person's going to look at it and then they're going to want some changes or edits or whatever, and so that affects the tempo. So the thing is that ideally when you want something, and I'm speaking in terms of like pages, things like comic book stuff or whatever, since you're dealing with multiple images and stuff like that, ideally you just want to be able to get everything to a place where it's like, boom, now I can send this out to the person. Now I can sit back, they can take a moment to sort of take it all in, and then only then you can come back and they can say, okay, well, I need some editing to see the whole full picture. And by that time you should be charged up and ready for those edits, to make sure those edits are done. But you can't really do that if you're right in the middle of the storm, in the storm of creating and getting the artwork done and stuff like that. So I'm always talking. I'm like, no. This is the day that I'll be able to get stuff to you. Usually when I work on and what I may do is I'll start showing. I definitely want to plan on doing a video with my thumbnails, because my thumbnails are pretty. The way I function is that I do my thumbnails somewhat tight enough for the client to look at, so they get a good idea of where I'm going with it. And then if they have edits, I can make the edits on the thumbnails, and then from the thumbnails I can blow them up to the size I want them to be drawn, and then from there I do a trace and then I can start doing my actual inking. So like what I'm doing here, although I drew right on this. But if this was a comic book page, I would do my thumbnails, and then the thumbnails they're roughly the size. I would say maybe a little smaller. And then from there, scan them in their computer, send them over to the client, and then the client gets it. They look at it, and then they go, okay, well maybe you should take that panel out, move that, change it. What's great about that is that by this point, any edits I can do, I tend to, since it's rough enough, I'm able to do my edits in Photoshop, so it's very quick. I can cut, paste, change sizes, blah, 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 send it off. If I get the okay, now I can take that page and I can blow it up to, and I usually work like roughly to the comic book, the standard comic book size. That's what I work to. And so I take that, blow it to that size, and now I get them all done, and then like an assembly line, I'll take a day and just do my whole process of transferring the blown up image that's a copy. I'll copy paper, trace it, and then get it onto an actual comic book board, and I'll spend a day just doing the penciling for that. So now it's an assembly line. I get it all done, and once it's all laid out, then comes a point of just really ink drawing it. So like what I'm doing here. So it's definitely a process. It works for me. Every artist has to find a process that works for them, but that works for me. No complaints. And I've been able to crush my deadlines, which is it's almost like that makes me so happy. I love being able to, when I do a job and then crush the deadline. I do. I pride myself on that. That was one of the things that when I first got into advertising and stuff, I used to say that was one of my models, that I was like, I can crush deadlines. Deadlines are meant to be crushed. I never wanted to be in a situation. All right, let's move this up a little more. I never wanted to be in a situation where that a deadline would be this stain on my reputation. Yeah, I never wanted to be in a situation like that. I had situations where, not because of me though, surprisingly, it was because of something where, like, say a client came at the last minute and stuff, and then they wanted changes and whatnot, and and then trying to scramble to make sure things get done and stuff. But I don't think this ever. No, I can honestly say I've never been in a situation where it was me. I was the cause of it. If it ever came to something like that, I would definitely be like communicating with the client immediately if something came up, and I'd be like, well, this is the situation. I had one situation, actually, it was a good one. We had a power outage here, and oh man, I remember it being hot. That was a hot one. And the good thing about it was that this cafe that I would go to and stuff, they had power and stuff, and a really nice cafe, big cafe. And I went there, and I worked. It's a great place too. It's a great place for people to sort of do their work and stuff. But I got the job done. I had my momentary little freak out, and I was like, oh man, because this client's really expecting this. And then I was able to go to that cafe, drove over, and worked there. So yeah, I think I'm actually more anal than a client would probably be, depending on who the client is. But most times, especially clients, like I'm always like with a client, I always laugh because I go anytime, and I'll tell anybody this, any person new to trying to work professionally, is that anytime a client says take your time, don't take your time. That's just my fair warning. Don't take your time. Don't ever. If a client says no worries, no worry. I am being honest with you. Worry. You immediately, you should be like, okay, let me just get this going. Just for your own sanity, just get as much done as you can. Because, and this happens many times. I think sometimes, and it happens. There's just a lot of things happen where life can get in the picture, and then a client can come back, and next thing you know, something may affect them where they need that image or whatever at the last minute, where you probably before thought you had like a week, next thing you know, now you got a day. It can change that quick, and so you have to sort of have it in your head That's it. That I gotta work on this. That means that I'm not gonna be hanging out tonight. Hanging out, whatever, clubbing. I don't even know if they use the word clubbing anymore, do they? It's back in the day, used to clubbing. Love clubbing. Hey, I'd like to thank everybody for coming by and chilling out and on this Tuesday morning. I know it's a weird morning, and that's cool. It's all right. Sometimes it's good to mix things up. And what I'm doing right here, just to give a quick little recap, is that this is a booklet. See, there you go. And this was a booklet that was done for me years ago by a fan. I would say he was probably a fan of my work, because he contacted me, reached out to me, and he said, "Hey, man, I'll take a little break." He said, "Hey," and I'll grab with the originals. I got the originals right here. He said, "Hey, I'll push this up." He said, "Hey, man, I love your work," because I was doing a lot of sketch cards. I started doing sketch cards back in 2009, and I was in it for a little bit. Worked for a couple of companies and stuff. It's cool stuff, I've had a chance to work on a lot of really big IPs, and very fortunate just falling right into that. So, and he said, "Hey, I loved your work. So anyway, is there any way that I could do a trade with you?" And I said, "Trade." So what happened was, he said, "Look, I do these booklets." And so I want to say that then it must have been around 2014 or a little after, because Godzilla clearly came out. And so when he came to me and said this, I said, "All right, well, let me just see." And I think he sent me some stuff, and I said, "Wow, these look really cool. I'm digging this." And I had done some booklet stuff, I believe, for Upper Deck. I did, like, Upper Deck had this series of cards, and I don't know, they might still be doing them, I'm not sure. But Upper Deck had a series of cards where they had booklets. I think I may even have one around here. And I'm taking a little break. But actually, I do have it. Here you go. Just showing you guys. This is one of the Upper Deck booklets that I carved. So actually, yeah, Upper Deck did this. This was a booklet one, and this was 2012. So they were doing these, but Upper Deck has some elaborate ones, because I remember doing cards where they had 4 or 5 folds in them, and they were just amazing. So you had this side, and this is all drawable size, but you had this side, the cover, the front, and then what happens is you open the interior. And so this was the card that I did that had I don't know why I thought of putting Ant-Man. I love the original Hank Pym Ant-Man, but then I had this idea of him where you get this closer with him, and all of a sudden you pull the camera far back and you see that that's him right there, this little figure. He's punching I know I'm gonna say his name wrong. Annihilus, and he's from the Negative Zone, from the Fantastic Four. But this was a really cool card, man. That was really cool. He's getting hit, and then on the back you had Upper Deck, and you received a hand-drawn card. Blah 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 blah. Marvel Premiere. And it's official. This was an official card that I did. So anyway, they were the only ones that I knew that was doing that. So anyway, this guy said, what do you like? And I said, and he said, "Yeah, I'll even do this laminated stuff in the back." So I said, Godzilla 2014. So I really like the design of Godzilla 2014. I think it's really amazing. So I love that. And he did the back, and then and actually I've been holding on to these for so long that only this year I decided to crack these open and take a swing at them, and which I did, because the Godzilla vs. Kong movie was coming out, and so I decided to do a piece. And I just wanted to say beforehand, these are not for sale. I can't give these up, not yet, not at this time, but I'm holding on to these babies. So I ended up doing that, and I said, "Oh, that was kind of fun." So and I think he sent me this case too. So I have them both in this really nice case right here. Man, it has a magnetic thing that holds it. Pretty cool, huh? So anyway, the next one, of course, if anybody who knows my post, I love the Shogun Warriors. I can't even, the Shogun Warriors inspired me for the path that I am on today. Herb Trimpe, Doug Minich, and many other people that contributed to that series, and then the Godzilla series from Marvel Comics. Definitely changed this artist's life, you know. So I said, hey, can you do that? And he said, okay, here's the cover. He took the cover, number 1. I think that was issue 1. Ooh, yes, I believe that was issue 1. And so he took that, and again, it has a back thing on it, Shogun Warriors, laminated. And then this year, I just decided to do this. And pretty much, this piece was me doing the Shogun Warriors from the Marvel Comics. I love Dan Gardes. Dan Gardes will be forever a character. If I do any Shogun Warrior pieces, Dan Gardes is going to be somewhere in the forefront. That's just how it is. I love. Doesn't take away from Raideen or Combatra. Doesn't take away from them, but that's my favorite. I love Dan Gardes. But also, I wanted to showcase many of the other figures that appeared in the actual line. So I've had people, I posted this up, and I've had people sort of question, they're trying to guess who these characters are in the back. My only clue that I'll give you is that if you look at the original, I know Marvel Comics had an ad for the Shogun Warriors. So if you look on them, they are, many of these robots are the ones that appeared in that ad, and they were in the line, the Shogun Warrior line from Mattel. So there you go. But yeah, so I was very fortunate. So that's technically what this is. The only difference is that, let's see, put that. Oh, this thing is so cool. Yeah. So technically, and then he gave me this too. So I had this blank sort of sitting, you know, hobbled away and stuff. And I just decided, I said, I already got the cards I wanted, you know. And I said, maybe, you know, maybe somebody might like this. And so the person who's like, again, he's been commissioning me recently, and he's just phenomenal. I call him the G-Man. You know, I don't like to just drop people's names all over the place, but I call him the G-Man. An amazing just client overall. So he went for the 9x12 with Devastator and Defensor, but then I said, hey, I got this. I put it out there, and he said, man, I immediately was like, I want it. And so that's where we are today. So this will be full colored on both sides. So just a little recap. This seems going to be really fun to do. Unfortunately, this won't be a live stream. I won't do this for the live stream. What I'll do is it'll be another one of my, what I call my mashup videos. And the mashup videos are just me talking a little bit. And then eventually I go into this hyperlapse video, which is the more speed, fast drawing and stuff like that, a little bit of music and stuff. And then so you'll see that you know, if you go to my YouTube channel, click on any one of those videos, you'll see some mashup videos and stuff like that. And you know, they're just fun to kind of watch. You get to see the process of my inking and stuff like that, and then sometimes coloring. I kind of mix them up. So anyway, yeah. But for today, the live stream will be about me inking up this monster, this interior art right here. So anyway, back to work. The art must flow. I'm happy to see so many people are taking the time and watching, and I'm really honored. Thank you. Again, I don't take any of that stuff lightly. I've always said that, you know, if a person chooses to pay you or pay me to work on artwork, then that's something, that's a special thing, because the thing is that they don't have to. You know, I understand strongly that there are millions of artists out there that are tremendous. They just blow me out the water. But clearly there's something about my art, and hopefully something about me that they dig. And that if they dig it, then, you know, they're willing to dig into their pockets and say, okay, I want to hire this person, you know, to do something for me. And you know, and I'm grateful for that. So yeah, I think that's important. I think it's important for people to hear that. You know, I have to say that I've been very fortunate to have done a lot of various projects for different people, and I have to admit, they really challenge me. I love having a good challenge where, I'll be end up drawing stuff that I never would have thought of drawing ever. And that's good because I feel like that's how, as an artist, I could grow. I grow by, doing the stuff that might challenge me. You know, and it's definitely, and I will admit, there are definitely stuff that I know I will never ever draw, and I'll let a person know about that. I'll say, well, excuse myself from the project. I've done that before. I've excused myself from stuff when I feel strongly about it. If I really do, I go, well, I don't think I'm the right artist for you, and I'll gladly say, hey, maybe you need to check here or someplace. And I think that's another important thing for many new artists to understand, is that you don't have to take every single job out there, especially if you're taking too much on. You have to be mindful of that, because the key thing that you're trying to sustain is your reputation. That is a very important thing. Reputation goes a long way. You want people to be able to say that, hey, this person, regardless of what, this person is somebody who will get the job done. They do a good job. They communicate very well. Those are the good things that you want people to be saying about you. That you do challenge, that you bring something to the table, not just the fact that you're some glorified organic copy machine. You don't want to be a copy machine either. You want to be an artist. That's what an artist is. An artist is somebody who's bringing something to that table too. They're bringing their expertise. They're bringing their skill. They're bringing their ideas. As many times I've sat in the meetings, in ad meetings and stuff like that, and all of a sudden they look at me and say, Frank, what do you think? And I was part of the team. I think that's the thing that I enjoyed working in advertising, was a sense of team. All these creative people driven to one endeavor, and that is to succeed. It's like winning. I like that. I want to win. I want to be able to look into the eyes of the person next to me and go, you want to win too, right? I mean, you really want to win, don't you? You really, not just win, you really want to win. And that winning means the client ends up buying that concept. That's a win. That ensures the fact that most likely I'll get called again, and I'll be doing continuous work. Because again, that's the cool thing about it, was that if you did a good job, then they'll be like, man, these clients really like that person's artwork, so most likely you'll get called again for it, because they trust your artwork. They trust what you do. They know that you're a thinking artist. I always say, like, a thinking artist, an artist that you're not an automaton. You're not just something that somebody has to constantly be force feeding you and telling you what to do. You don't want to be that kind of artist. No, you're more than just an organic automaton. You're more than that. You have to be. What is your value? Ask yourself that. What is your value? What value do you bring? All right. I hope you guys enjoyed that little intermission. That's cool, just showing that stuff, man. But anyway, I just wanted to give people an idea of the where this all sort of came from. All spurred on by an individual reaching out to me and saying, look, this is what I got, and I respect that. I really do. I respect the fact that because he kept it real, and I like that. I like when people who are just like, boom. He's like, this is I got this, and I feel like I really like your work, and I was like, okay, cool. And now that leads to me here drawing this piece. Yeah, instead of doing the marker feathering, I'm gonna go with the using the Micron here, just these nice thin lines. It's almost like gradation almost. You do it so thin. The idea is that these guys are punching it out so much it's just like pieces of spot, even pieces of their body, like like little chunks of metal are just like coming off of them. That's anytime I think of Optimus Prime and Megatron. Again, that fight scene. Be careful so I don't dab any wet ink spots. That fight scene from Transformers the movie. Whew, man, that's a great fight scene. Oh, that was well laid out. Well, kudos. It's incredible. Knockdown, drag out battle. Love it. Yeah, humidity can definitely play a thing. I remember once working on some comic book pages, and it was super. This is years ago though, and oh man, I remember it being so hot, and like the page was just, the moisture in the air was just a nightmare. Oh, it was. So yeah, it could definitely play depending. And I tend to use and again, this is everyone has their choices. Back in the day I used to cut my own pages, but again. Going back to that the freelance life, man, is time is money, and the time that it takes to be cutting out pages and all that stuff, that's eating up time, in my opinion. So when Blue Line or Eon Boards started putting, I used to get stuff from Eon Boards too. I think they might still be around. I think Blue Line is still around too. Yeah, Blue Line is definitely around because I'm still getting Blue Line stuff. But as soon as they started doing those pre-made boards, I was like, oh, heaven. That solved a lot. That solved that, to me, that ate away a few hours of work. And anytime something like that drops in your lap, I'm like, because that's the key thing, is you're looking at time. Like, your time is very, very important. Because the thing about it is, in most cases, if you're a freelance artist, you're not working on one project. A really strong freelance commercial illustrator is working on numerous projects. There's always something going on. You got a few clients, and yeah, and they're all different things too. That's what makes it even more challenging, because one minute you could be working on something, it's just like, oh yeah, we don't need that lot detailed, and you could be working on another one that's like, oh, we need detail. So. All right, coming along pretty good. Hopefully you guys can see this pretty good. Still trying to keep it on. I'm like freaking out because I'm like, I hope I'm not pulling too far away. By all means, let me know. And yeah, feel free to share the post and stuff. It's weird when I get people ask this question. They go, yeah, is it okay to share? And I'm like, sure, I don't care. I mean, I appreciate the fact you're asking. That's great. But if I see a post that I like, I share it. I don't care. Until if a person comes to tell me not to, then I go, okay, not a problem. Megatron. I do love the classic. I would say the small regrets though. I actually had I forgot what Masterpiece Megatron. I ended up selling him. Yeah, that's another story. But yeah, I sold him. He's a great character too. Really tough to transform, in my opinion. Very selective about stuff I get today. Yeah, I still get those momentary impulses, but then I catch myself and I go, oh, I don't know. Yeah, in most cases I just sort of walk away from it. I go, I don't know if I really want it. That's the place where I'm at now. When I think about stuff, I look at it and I go, do I really want it? It would be nice though. I will say this. I'll put that out there in the universe. It would be nice if after watching Singular Point, is like I would love for them to do a more die-cast metal Jet Jaguar. I think if they did one, where you can swap out the legs and stuff, which I'm hoping. I'm really hoping that might be what they're thinking. That would be one where I would really test myself. I would really want that. That'd be a want. You know, I do have the figure that came out. It was like a vinyl one, a plastic one, but vinyl, I think. And I have that one. But yeah, 'cause I like Jaguar. Jaguar's really cool, but I would love to see a version where it's more die-cast metal and like his legs and stuff, you know. I sometimes wonder about my artwork that's sort of out there in the void. At one point years ago, there was an individual who purchased a ton of my work, a lot of early stuff from the 90s. I don't even know if they still have it in their collection. I don't even know. And then I remember doing some Super Robot cards, sketch cards, and I believe the person lived in France that snatched those up, man, years ago. Yeah, sometimes I think about it. I go, man, I wonder how if that art's still out there. That person still got my art. You know, I collect art too. I actually have actual cells from a couple of animes and stuff that featured super robots. So a lot of old stuff. I know I have some, maybe a few from Combatra. I have a couple of Raideen, a lot of Vanguard Ace. I did some tracking from some Vanguard Ace. Grenadiers is a tough one. Grenadiers is very super expensive to get some Grenadier ones. And I think I have, I know I have Tessigen 28, the newer version from the 80s. I definitely have some big old ones. So yeah, so I definitely have those. I have, you know, I originally had original pages. I had like 40 pages of the Shogun Warriors. But unfortunately, I had to sell those. And that's always the toughest part of being a collector, is that I always say a true collector understands that one day you're just gonna have to probably part with it. There's gonna be a point where you just gotta let it go, and that's always a tough thing. It's still a painful thing for me to think. Like, I wish that I had held on to at least a few of those pages, especially because Herb Trimpe, you know, I got to know him a little bit before he passed away, a couple of times actually, and he signed them. He signed those things, and I was going through some stuff, and my thinking just wasn't in the right place. But the good thing is I still have a Herb Trimpe piece that he did a Godzilla. He actually did a headshot Godzilla for me. It's more than a headshot, maybe quarter shot. I think I'm getting a little bit of Godzilla's body. I have to look at it again. But anyway, regardless of what, it's a Herb Trimpe sketch that he did. It was at a New York show, and I remember getting it from him. And then the next one I have from him is he did a Raideen sketch card that I have. So I'm very happy about that. So yeah, but on the Shogun Warrior pages, I just wish I had held on to like a few. You know, you know, it's one of those weird things where I was in a weird place at that time when I ended up letting them go. Just a weird place, going through a lot of stuff, and you know, that's another thing too, when life gets in the way and certain things sort of affect us all. You know, we all have to go through our journey. But with that said, maybe one day, I'm in the belief too, you never know how the universe works, and you know, maybe one day those pages will pop back into my grubby fingers. At least a few of them. Be nice. I really love Herb's work, man. His style, the energy of it. I think that's the thing for me. I just purchased, actually, on another comic book note, what was his name? Frank Bruner? Was it Frank Bruner? who did the Invaders. Maybe I think I'm wrong. I know the book's right over there, but oh, see, now I'm gonna have to go. Give me a second. I have to go get the book. I want to get his name right. Oh, please tell me how to get the book. Oh, here it goes. I got volume 2 first, but it's volume 1 of the Invaders, and it's not Frank Bruner's killing me now. Frank Robbins, and Don Heck, but Frank Robbins. I love Frank Robbins' artwork. You know, and again, it may not be for everyone, but when I look at this work, that artwork, it is an energy to it that I don't know. Like, I felt like there's a lot of energy in his work, and just like Herb Trimpe's and stuff like that, and that's what I want to try to instill with my work. You know, I'm not trying to do super realistic stuff. To me, when I see realistic stuff, I know for myself, when I get super detailed, I immediately look at it as more static artwork. It's like the artwork that I would do if I was working at an agency. And for agencies, yeah, there's a reason why the artwork had to be detailed. Somebody said I had to draw like a hamburger or something. It had to look like a hamburger, you know. So I understand why that looks like it. It was a one-off piece of artwork. But for me, I want stuff like this, where there's energy. I want a sense of movement in it, where you feel like you're looking at something and someone took a snapshot, like a keyframe. It's like boom, and just caught this action shot. I don't know if many of you out there right now that are watching, and even if you're not watching, but later on you see this. If you watched many of the old animes and how they would do these. For me, it was the giant robot one. So there would be things like, so say for like Get a Robo or something, and they would do these. First would be the animation, and then all of a sudden they'd do suddenly this stop, and it'd be like a keyframe, and it's well painted and everything. And I've seen that in some of the mangas too. I love that. It was almost like you capturing this one powerful scene of just whatever is going on. In most cases, there would be like utter destruction or something. You know, I love that. I tried to do a little bit of that, like even in the Robot God Akamatsu graphic novel that me and James Biggie did. I tried to capture that kind of feeling. I did some pencil, really these sort of detailed pencil sketch drawings, so they would feel like they were like the actual like scene where all of a sudden you get this action going on, and it would just, you know, turn into this heavily rendered keyframe kind of shot. But I love that stuff. I look more at artwork in the sense of the energy of it, more so than whether or not the proportions are right and stuff like that. That just doesn't drive me. Because again, you know, I grew up reading all kind of different stuff and looking at different things, and for me, I look at style with an artist's work. You know, like again, you take a Simon Beasley. Simon Beasley's style is phenomenal. You know, I would never want it to be like that, him drawing like, you know, proportions or whatever, what they think is proportions. I love seeing his characters and their, you know, one big arm or something like that, or some, you know, something's skewed. I love that. That's his voice. That's the voice that he has, and that's what he should be doing. He should, in my opinion, shouldn't be doing that super realistic, like everything's gonna be anatomically correct and stuff. That's not the kind of artist he is. That's not the kind of artist I am. I want to have fun. I want to have a lot of fun with my drawing, and I want the energy to be in there. All right, here we go. We're doing good. We're doing good. Hopefully I haven't talked your ears off and stuff. Starting to yap. The rambling. Oh, Megatron. All right. There we go. this 01 is really good. I actually have not Micron. Excuse me. This 01 Micron has been really good. I've been kind of consistent with it. I have not needed to change up to the 003, which is a much more smaller head. That's cool, you know, very happy about that. There's something about like just drawing so small like this, you know. It is. It's just really cool. Like, you ever see those artists that can draw like miniature, like, or paintings and stuff, or even like when they do the miniature food. It's trippy, man. That level of detail. That's incredible. And you sit there and you're just like, how did this human being do this? And yeah, it can be done. All right. Another thing to remember, also, I'll put another little voice of, some information out there into the universe. If you're doing sketch card puzzles, just be mindful. That was a hard lesson that I had to learn back in the day when I first started out with sketch cards, because originally I would just try to draw like these massive big pictures and stuff, like take like 9. I think the biggest I did was mostly 9 cards, and I wasn't conscious of the fact of the collectors. I wasn't thinking of the collectors in that sense. Like if somebody gets a card, then all they're getting is a foot, that kind of thing. So, well, it took time, but I totally agree too that you got these collectors out there that are paying for this, and that no collector should feel like they're kind of robbed of the fact of owning like a piece of artwork. What you want to leave the collector with a sense of, boom, I have this piece, like say like here, like this piece right here, you got Megatron right here, so pretty, get a decent amount of his body and stuff like that. Now I just got to go on the hunt to find the other particles with it, which is a similar thing with Optimus Prime. You want to be able to leave that collector. Oh, let me get this little spot over here. You want to be able to leave that collector with that chance, that possibility of being able to hunt for that piece. You never want to leave them with like a part where it's like, say if I tried, which is impossible, but if I tried to mash Megatron over here, and all you're getting is like the backhand, like getting like this part of his arm right here. Could you imagine that? That's not that would be not a good puzzle card, in my opinion. That's cheating someone out of it's just cheating them out of the of collecting it, technically. Now they're going to have to be forced to try to find, because maybe another thing too is that maybe they may never be able to find the other part of that. So imagine if they're just left with just that arm. It's like, oh yeah, I got Megatron's arm. So that was an important lesson that I learned doing sketch cards. So if you're somebody out there doing sketch cards and you want to do puzzles and stuff like that, then by all means, but just be mindful of that. That's one that you should definitely be mindful of. Trying to think with sketch cards. What would be my favorite sketch cards that I worked on? Sets. The Marvel one, that was a really good one. Cause I had a chance to break open. I remember when I was talking to the person over at Upper Deck, I was adamant about the fact that I wanted to draw classic heroes. That was my big thing. I broke open my Marvel universes, and I was like, I want to get to draw classic characters. Because in my mind I was like, a lot of other sketch card artists most likely would be going for some of the newer people, those guys. And I just felt like, again, that people should be able to see some of these other characters that sort of shape this universe. It's important, it's an important thing. So they were like, all right, cool. And so, which I did. I think that in my run, I showcased it. I just went through my Marvel universe and just started just drawing, finding various characters of so obscure characters, and just like, okay, you're going in, you're going in, you're going in. Yeah, it's important. That's one of those things where it's important that that we see a lot of these characters that, you know, they're not really talking about these days. You know, there's still fans for them. Yeah, I actually ended up doing ones with Red Ronin. I did Red Ronin. Oh, that had to get in there. I was like, this is not on an official set. I said Red Ronin's going in there. They of course didn't, you know, they didn't like it, but Red Ronin's going in there. That's all I gotta say to that. I love Red Ronin. Red Ronin. Oh, what a great character. Where are we at? 10:15. Oh man, we're doing good. We're doing good. Cranking. Put some little stress lines on there too. All right, let's see what we got here. Definitely showing Megatron as a show that can be cracked up a lot more. Just because in my mind, I always considered Optimus Prime to be a lot stronger, more stronger built than Megatron. That's just my opinion. You know, if I was going to show Megatron blast, like shoot a blast off, then it would be much more powerful. I always felt that Megatron had the power, like when he shot that cannon off, it was like boom. He could take down some people, you know. But I always think of as Optimus Prime as being just somebody who physically could fight, like built for battle, like hand-to-hand combat. Clearly his gun, his rifle is pretty powerful too, but I always just think of him as just being like a brawler, like he can just fight. He's built for it, he could take the beating and stuff like that. So when I draw him, that's what I think of, you know. And that's always the fun thing. Everyone has their own way of thinking of these sort of legacy characters and stuff. And that's what makes them legacy. That's what makes them so cool, because it's like everyone has their own interpretation. You know, their own feeling. Like, what does this character mean to you? I like that. That to me is incredible, because it's like, wow, the fact that someone can have a totally different kind of experience, like feeling toward a character, than what I experienced. I think that's really cool. That's a testament of that character. All right. All right, doing good. Still got some folks watching. Wow. Well, first off, thanks for Hank still hanging. You know. Thank you for hanging out. I'm gonna hit a couple little dots of black in there. Just a few little dabs in it, just to do the blend into his leg. What I'll do is I'll probably do a little bit of stipulation in there, just to kind of make it kind of interesting, you know. Now, I know that Megatron has some technology, like in his inner leg, that you can sort of see. So, just gonna just get it in there, and I'll go in with some. And most likely, I'll probably strengthen it up with some gel white after the fact, you know. Just to add more circuitry, so no worries. Go back. That's the final stage of just, like, you know, and that final love to the piece. I always hear my teacher's voice in my head from art school. He's like, "You gotta learn to bless that art, Washington. Bless it." I mean, put it away. Don't overthink it. You know, sometimes you can ruin a piece just by, like, you know, just not letting it go. You know, bless it. It's done. You did all you could do for it. Now you move on to the next thing. You know, whatever mistakes that you think you did in this piece, or whatever things that you just not fortunate, then that's okay. You'll do better in the next one. That's where I kind of my mindset is. I'll do better in the next one. It's not the end of the world. Shadows on there. It's nice to have a nice bold line around these things too. It's another key thing. Okay. Now I'm gonna use some. Oh, here's some more debris right here. I also got to say that I really admire George Perez as well too. I would say that he's another person who inspired me a lot. Some breakage in there. Optimus has some breakage, but Megatron, you're gonna jack your shoulder up. Punch. Boom. Maybe stretch fracture points. All right, I'm gonna put some. I'm breaking out the stapler, and I'm gonna put some fire in here. And again, I tend to use my colors, I call them marker pens, fine liners, just to, enhance upon it once I start laying things out. All right. Oh boy, this is getting close. Hopefully you guys can see that. Okay, everything's good. All right, let's go out here. Okay. Oh no, I just had an accident. Oh, darn it. I just had an accident, people. This is what happens. White ink. Can you see it? Oh, it's right there on his mouth. Oh. Well, I think I could work that into, but this is what happens. Let me see. I don't have any. Oh, yep. My finger caught it. Darn it. That is called impatience. So what's going to happen is I gotta let that dry. And since the good thing, let's first look at the con. The con of it is, this is literally an ink spot. Now the pros is, how do I make this work? The pro is that Megatron is a character he's like silver or gray, light gray, white. So I think I can get away with it with some whiteout. So I'll put a little bit of whiteout and I'll come in and clean some of that up. And then the good thing about it actually is the way the smudge is, it actually adds to more battle damage. So it adds like a nice kind of dust, kind of like, dust rust kind of look or whatever. So it actually, in my opinion, can enhance the picture a little bit. But I'm very lucky right here because it caught a little bit of this, so that can work. And I can add a little bit of white in here to clean that up. So this is a good thing as well as a crappy thing, because this shows you what happens when you're being too impatient. And I was definitely impatient. I just colored this right here. I could tell right here that it's still wet, and I just was like, screw it, I'm just gonna go ahead and go for it. And I wasn't being mindful. So this is a fine example of, you have to be mindful, especially when you're dealing with ink, because your hand may brush over it or something, and this happens to everyone, but you don't lose your mind over it. It's okay. What you do is you just recalibrate, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to recalibrate, so I'm going to switch over there, mindful of the fact that I got some work to do over there, and I make it work. So if any of those artists out there that are trying or interested in doing art, understand that mistakes will happen. It just, they just happen. But does that mean you toss the piece? No, unless the only time that you ever From my opinion, really, when you get rid of a piece is when there's just you've already exhausted everything else, and you just know I can't save this piece. Then that does happen. Then that's the heartbreaking thing is when you just gotta be like, I can't save it, and and that's a tough one for any artist out there. But I always feel like in most cases the art can be saved, you know. But it goes right back to what I said earlier about sketch cards. Sketch cards are very unforgiving in that sense because this is final artwork. You know, I can't go back and use a computer or digitally get rid of stuff. I can't. This is it. The good thing about it is I got this recording and the person will see the recording and this can add to the story of the piece. I always say as somebody who collects artwork as well, the story of the piece is to me the most compelling thing I think for many collectors out there. The journey of the artwork. What happened, what was the artist thinking of when they were working on that piece, I know that not all collectors think like this, but I feel like there's a big chunk of collectors out there who they love the story behind it. That to them is the real joy, in getting a piece. Besides the fact of liking the artwork too. If they saw that a artist that they really enjoy and they did a video, and while they're doing the video, I don't know, they have a cup of coffee and a splash, they put something down, a splash of coffee gets on that piece, and the artist has that one freak out moment, that moment where they go, oh shoot. But then they go, you know what, I'm gonna draw something. I'm gonna take that piece of coffee stain and draw a little image around it and make it into a part of the thing. You think some collectors are gonna be like, I don't want that? I mean, I'm sure somebody would. I know I'll take it. I'll be straight up with you. I would totally take that. That right there is like, that's gold, because that right there is a story. That's something right there. There's something that just happened, and now you're going to be the recipient of that experience right there. That's bragging rights and everything, man. That's like, yeah, dude, yeah, you see that? Yeah, he was drawing, and all of a sudden it just, you had this oopsie, and yeah, oopsie. Look at me, oopsie. You had an oopsie. Oh man, Frank, showing my age, man. All right, oopsie. Kid from the projects talking about oopsies. Oopsie, oopsie. God, it was God. But yeah, I'm just saying that's the thing, man. You either ask yourself, are you a collector? True collectors, they love that stuff. They want the story. They want the, the experience. Although I will say that I'm probably gonna cut it off on the point if I actually cut my finger and then bled on it. I don't know about that. That'd be kind of weird. That'd be like, ooh, I don't know, dude. But yeah, if I think I did. I think a long time ago I did a piece, and I found out it had a coffee stain or a stain on it. It either could have been a stain from coffee, or it was like like sometimes me when I'm working on something, and this is how I used to be too, working so quick on it that again, I you put the inkwell down and it splashes, or like what else? What am I thinking? Or the brush, and you get splashed. Next thing you know, you're like, where the something did this blush come from? And I'd be scratching my head and about to have my freak out moment, and all of a sudden I'll look at it and go, screw that, man, let me see if I can make this work. Okay, and I'll turn it into a character. And so the client sees like this right here. I actually like that too. That nice, looks like a burn. I'm not gonna do it for everything else though. That's what I remember. I'm going all over the place, but I remember my teacher once told me happy little accidents, and he probably got that from Bob Ross too. Who knows? But anyway, happy little accidents. You look at something, you go, "Oh, that's a nice effect." I actually like that effect. I'm like, should Optimus have that? And I'm like, I don't want to taste. This is one time where I don't want to be playing around, because again, what I said earlier, sketch cards are a whole nother animal. You don't get a lot of leeway with sketch cards. They are final art, and yeah, you don't want to be screwing up on them. So I'll take that. I'll take this little happy little accident But I am gonna clean his face up because I don't want Megatron's face to be that dirty though. So, and the good thing about it is Megatron is silver. He's like a silver color, so that works to my advantage. I can work with that. And that's how, you know, when things like that happen, that's how I look at it. I go, how can I make it work? Now, if I can't make it work, then, ooh. And what's tough about something like this is that this piece right here, this booklet, this is a one-off. I don't know how to make the booklet, you know. I don't know how to make it. This is the only one I have. So, I have to make it work. I have no other choice. But that's, you know, I go right back to the whole thing about being an artist is like you have to be more than just drawing. You have to be able to think on the spot, and you know, and not be freaking out over stuff when it seems so daunting. You just go, okay, well, I'll make this work. I'm gonna make this work. All right. Whoa. What's that back there? No, it's a white man. What are you back there? I think probably, I think this was more like he was coming through a door or something, so I'm gonna, yeah, it really got, I think I can make this work. Oh, gee, man, he might actually dig this, so, you know, I'll make it work. Make this couple of lines, and then I'm gonna let it dry. So pretty much, I think this leg of my journey is over. Let me just go over. I'm gonna take actually a Sharpie. This is again where you play around with different stuff. Now I use the Statler red, which is great, but you know Sharpie reds they're a nice darker red, which I like. So make sure that nothing's, and then come in a little bit and just pump that up. The only thing sometimes with Sharpies is that they can, especially when I found when it's humid, they can bleed a little bit. So you don't want it to bleed. I know I don't want it to bleed. So just do a little bit, just to pump it up a little bit. Get that red right in there. Okay. A little bit in there. Boom. Boom. And then I'm going to strengthen up that orange for the fire, but I'll save that. Yes, my signature, FBW 2021. Okay. All right. Okay. Make it work. I don't know if that's dry enough. It might be dry enough for the gel pen. All right, I'm gonna take my chance. But I definitely got some wet spots, so I gotta be careful. So I'm breaking out my gel pen, and now I'm just gonna go in very carefully. Some dabbles. Just little dabbles. Just little dabbles. Come on. Little dabbles over there. I almost want to make his eye a little bit longer. Oh, it's like, no. I'm gonna save that for later. I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to overdo it, Frank. Yeah, I'll save that for later. Okay. That's that point where you just gotta sort of let it go. But anyway, I'm very happy. I got the interior artwork done for this commission, and the next thing will be the exterior, the front and back. But I don't know if you guys can see it. I can't open up too much. It's too wet, and I don't want to take any more chances. So anyway, there you go. And the next video that I do will be actually, you know what? See, again, this is what happens. My brain is going overload. I'm gonna hit this with a little 3 and hit it a little bit cross hatching there. Notice that I had some. That's not doing pretty good. We'll fix that. It's okay. A little bit of cross hatching in there, just a little bit, just to kind of. All right. Okay. With that said, I'm gonna bless this one right here, and this side is going to be officially done for now. And then the next next video that I will release, it won't be a Facebook Live, but it will be one of my mashup videos, and that's gonna go straight to my YouTube channel, and you'll see the final, like the finished inking on the other side. And then after that, then I have to do the coloring videos as such. So anyway, for now, this is done. And what time is it? 10:30, 34. Not bad at all. I'm very happy. With that said, I'm gonna bring out some of my old stuff, because before in the previous video, I brought out some of my old artwork that I did. A lot of patch artwork that I had done back in, I think, 2017, 2018. But this stuff, I'm gonna see what I have in this other little portfolio that I have over here. So anyway, here, get ready for some treats. So I'm gonna put this aside, make sure this is nice and safe, get a little air on it, let that ink soak in, put that away. And let's go down memory lane, what I love calling my memory lane. It's important. I think sometimes it's kind of cathartic, actually, to go down memory lane sometimes, off and on. So let's see. Hopefully this won't bother. Okay, cool. Oh, ooh, ooh. I'll do it this way. Oh, this thing is so low. All right, I'll do it this way. All right, let's see what I got. Oh, I guess it's, everything's so shifted. I don't want to take it out, but anyway, let's see. This is some, oh man, I forgot what that was for. It's a skull eating a skull. I have no idea what it was, and I did not date it, but it is a pencil, most likely a Prismacolor black pencil on tracing paper. All right, but I have no idea what I did it for. Most likely it was an asset. Most likely this is, let me move this light too. This was some character art. If you guys can see it. Oh man, this is tough. This might have been, yeah. I think this might have been for this comic book sort of series I was working on. There's a Nook, some creature called Nook. And these look like they were all done. At one point when I was working, especially in advertising, I was working on using I worked on tracing paper and Prismacolor black pencils. They were great because a lot of the clients liked that kind of rough look, and it was almost like pencil, but you know, but it was much more, gave a much more darker line effect. But there's some other characters. As you can see, my style, much more cleaner style. Right. And this would be like character sheets. And as I've said in previous videos, I tell anybody out there, it is important that you have character sheets. I would tell any artists out there, any creators, you need to have character sheets. Those are just so important to have. Just so any artists out there that you want to hire, they just have a frame of reference to work on. Yeah, these are character sheets from the project. Oh, what was the name of that? Oh man, I forgot the name of the book. It was a book series that I was working on. I worked on a few of the books and stuff, and some of them got printed up. But it was a lot. It was a lot of images. 2009. Good thing I dated these, but certain various characters that I did, and it was really tough for me. Like, you know, I can't work on anything without character sheets. And I blame that on working in animation. I was working for All Jar Animation. Oh, here it goes. Here you go. I think that's the name. The name of it was called Maroon Del Mogo. And this was, I think this might have been the cover. Yeah, July 10th, 2009. Maroon Del Mogo book cover, issue 1. Yeah. As you can see, my sign, sign always stays the same. Although that one was more sort of vertical, and then I do it more like a horizontal. All right, yeah, Maroon Del Mogo. That's all pencil right there. Yeah, that's all pencil. Yeah. Wow. And anytime you see any loose illustrations like that, those would be assets. So those are easy to move around in Photoshop. Yeah, these were actually panels of the book series, and it was a children's book series, I feel. But yeah, look at that. I still do this to this day. I do my own sound effects. Not a letterer. I always try to tell people, I'm not a letterer, but sound effects and stuff I tend to put into my things because I feel like the sound effects are part of the artwork. And then there you go, page 13, bad guy grabs kid, Caleb lifts him up, boom. Page 14, robot cop appears, laser gun and finger cocked and ready. Laser gun and finger. Oh, okay, got you. And this guy's like, what? So yeah. Let's see what else I got here. This was a cover. This was for a cover for a comic book by Haunted Computer. So even right here, you can see my thumbnails. These were much bigger thumbnails, but thumbnails for the cover. And I actually had the logo in there, Haunted Computer logo. And sample one, this was a sample I was sending to the client. I said a creeping tentacle was the first one with the kid sort of scared. Then there was a kid who's has like this maniacal clown hand puppet. This book is safe for kids to read. I said, and I even wrote down my notes, my own personal notes, where I go, thought this book is safe for kids to read, kid with a hand puppet. And then the second one was, and also leaving room for like any kind of type. This one clearly had a lot of room. I left a lot of room for any kind of type to come in there, and one of my brushes just fell. But and then this third sample, brother and sister in bed, the closet door creeps open, and then you see this monster. And again, it was gonna be fun, like see the monster sort of peering in. And then actually it's called Little Shivers. That's what it was. So it's called Little Shivers by Haunted Computer, and I think you can see. It might be on Amazon or whatever. And actually, here's the cover. He chose this cover right here. That's pretty wild. There you go. So I got that. This was another short story that I did, and this is my character sheet. Look at the thin lines. I was really going for thin lines right there. Very like, this would be almost in that stage where I was still thinking more like animation in that term, where there's not a lot of weight. Although I drew some line weight on the vampire and stuff, but definitely I was gaining a lot of ideas and stuff. And I would say probably manga influence, or probably stuff I was seeing from Marvel. God, I forgot there was a couple artists I was doing that kind of almost American manga style. But definitely, yeah. I went to the stage where I was doing these bizarre creatures, and Bella Luna, Gemini, a little cast that I had, and just turning them into these weird, bizarre creatures. And this was all done. This might have been just marker pen, just me messing around with marker pen on tracing paper. So, all right. And then these were much more tighter images. Now it was a gothic Sphinx. I like goth. Another thing was weird. A dream creeper. These are just characters for a possible story. Oh, Crypto Critters, 2008. You know, you get these weird ideas in your head, and I just was like, oh, okay. And then, let's see. What else? Oh yeah, here's another one with the Sphinx. Oh yeah, and this something like this asset would have been the wings, and I just would have just cloned it and then plopped it over there. This has all been Photoshop stuff. Little tricks of the trade. Instead of just redrawing, you have to redraw the same thing over and over again. You know, you can do it, but yeah, sometimes the trick of the trade is all about speed, right? Some various characters. Character drawings. God, I haven't looked at this in a long time. Another big golf girl. Yeah. That's why I'm always like smiling when I see people and they only see a lot of my recent, more like kaiju stuff, but I draw a lot of different things. I've worked on a lot of different stuff. You know, I'm definitely an artist who I don't know, I won't say I get bored, but I get I've always wanted to be able to dabble into various different things in different genres, and to see how it feels just to, you know, work on
certain various things and stuff. So you know, I just did it. I never questioned it or anything. I just said, you know, it was more like just proving that I can do these things, and you know, and I felt in some way that it would enhance my skill set. So it doesn't mean I don't like kajus anymore. So let's see. This one right here is a little mixed media, I suppose. What I did was her stockings are actually paste ups. So I went and photocopied some skulls, and then I pasted them in, and then I did some stippling to kind of fill it in there to create that weird effect. But yeah, I guess this would be considered my bad girl art. That phase of bad girl art. Although it was a weird gothic bad girl. I'm a huge fan of the character Death and Sandman and stuff, so maybe that. Oh boy, okay, here you go. Some concept stuff. Boy, this was a long time ago. This was a concept with a client. I think it was called Wingman. I don't know if it was for a video game, but it was just me doing some. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I got my page bent. But it's just me just concepting and trying to figure out these characters, like their back, and that they can fly, and they had these wingman couple right here, and then this right here was their wings would unfold from their back and stuff. And I was like, wings are flexible yet very durable. And so I wanted to show a scene of them just kind of flying through the city, a little perspective, and you got little people on the buildings. Wingman in flight over city. All right, and then Wingman Design 2. It was for this company called Binary Art House, and this was Wingman versus Cloudstalker. And this is really rough. This is just me just getting through the idea of it, but the creature and stuff. But then I would do stuff like really tight pencils, and it was kind of like you know, the Cloudstalker. The Cloudstalker is a bioorganic creature which has the ability to float on air currents and propels itself via the tubulars on its back. Tubulars. It feeds on winged creatures, and can fly at a max speed of 300 miles per hour for short bursts. And it has a poison-tipped tail. So, a creature in the clouds in a strange world, I suppose. This is me, some more character design. Again, mixed media. Tracing paper, Prismacolor pencil, but also other Prismacolor for color. Again, I wanted to show how the wings work. And then this was their suit, and then the idea was that they had like marketing and everything in it, so I had to develop these kind of flight suits with similar to like racing car suits, I guess, with various products placements. The wingmen locate weapons throughout the aerial games, dual-headed slasher spear, female wingman, wingman insignia. The wings are relaxed yet still rigid, ready for combat. Sponsor patch, solar cells. Okay, yeah. I love concepting. Concepting's fun. Some early stuff. Just trying to get an understanding of how the body is and how the wing muscle in the back. And again, tracing paper, colored pencil. I think that was for that company, for Binary Art House. I want to say that was for them. I have no idea whatever happened to that. And again, let's see. Thank you guys for hanging around. If you're still hanging around seeing this stuff. All right. This is some more sketches. And again, rough. You know, probably Wingman Design 1, 2007. So this would be, where we at, 6 years old? No, not 6 years old. God, what is it? 14 years old. This is 14 years old. The gene vest, similar to the ones worn by Roman soldiers, is a device that enables a wingman to transform to an alternate form. The gene vest is stored with the DNA marker of various species. The wingman can add DNA from another wingman to enhance his or her power. Yeah, it's a cool idea. And then these was various wingmen, various characters. And again, just, you know, rough sketching.
That's the whole point. Rough sketching. Started using a lot of the concept sketch pages from Canson. Canson started releasing this wonderful Bristol paper and stuff, and I ended up using a lot of the back of them when I was working at doing the trading card art for Colossal Kaiju Combat. It's just fantastic. They work. All right, and then this was some my early coloring stuff. This was the colored page of this idea for a game, I think, and then this was my pencil of that. Fredenstein, the pudgy, timid younger brother of the famous monster. I'm alive. Yeah, I worked on a whole bunch of this stuff. Oh yeah, I remember this one. I think this actually appeared. This was Parappa Knots. I think this was a pen-up that popped up in Parappa Knots. Yeah, this is the original. And again, it was all done on, I was in that whole phase of working on tracing paper and Prismacolor pencil. And then this was a picture of that goth girl. Let's see what time is this? All right, it's the goth girl. It's a print. And then these are the characters. This is the color version of these characters that I did. Wanda Wolf, but this is the originals. Oh man, drawing characters, so fun, man. It really is. And you have these characters. Wow. So funny, because it's like I have not looked at a lot of this stuff for years, you know? So there's this artwork just piled up from a lot of cool projects. I think that's the thing that's so like, I look at my life and it's like I've had the chance to work on some really cool stuff. I have no complaints, you know? Really cool stuff that, you know, Gooey Gumpkins, the Boogeyman, Smooth Jazz, New Orleans Ghost, various Jackal Grumpkin design. Oh, Dad. Jackie O. Grumpkin. Okay. Man. A little heavy-handed on the blue pencil, though. A little bit. Boy, I was really getting into there. And then this is another one. Welcome to my challenge. Good luck. And again, I think this was for a game. I'm not sure if the game ever happened, but I was doing the character designs and stuff, concept. And again, you know, you do the notes. This was my coloring for this guy, Gil Herring. I love the Gil Man, by the way. That's my colors. Oh, so dark, horrible. And then this was the actual artwork. I'm a huge fan of doing stuff like this. Even though, again, I'm like, I won't do a headshot for like sketch cards or anything. But when I'm concepting, something about me just drawing these heads and stuff is funny. Oh man, I did a bunch of stuff on it. Beware the Ogre. So those are my designs. Ogden the Ogre. You get the character sketches, the way the body moves, and you get the, you know. I remember doing. I was commissioned to do like environments for a company and stuff, and I remember doing stuff like that, environments, which is pretty cool. This was a piece of rock fall free from the building, or done could smash through the bridge. So that probably was like a gameplay or something, maybe my idea. And then you got these guys right here. Early stages. Yeah, fresh. Funky fresh. Count Wakula. Young hip hop, old school. And then Calvin Kahn. And then Count Wakula with a do-rag on, Tupac headscarf, baggy pants, bat wings. Oh man. Jeez. And then this is the bonus. This is the bonus thing with the guy. I think he would pop up in the game and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and I gave him a cast iron plated hand. And what's cool too is if you go closer, let me see, I put like little like grips, like yeah, the grip thing. Yeah, I take this stuff serious, man. So let's see. Lexicon Lewis, mad scientist, crystal ball. All right, I think I'm coming near the end. And then here you go, and then both of them kind of colored up. So there you go. This is pretty much this particular portfolio contains some stuff I did for a client, a couple of clients, I guess. And there you go. Whew, man, memory lane, man. That's one reason why I post my memory lane, because it's like many times it's like a lot of stuff I have not seen in years. It's just been sort of put away. But anyway, I'm so happy that that you dropped on by. Here you go. Is another little peek of the finished Devastator and Defensor piece. This was commission 1, and then the sketch card is commission 2 for this particular client. And so I'm going to, this is going to be black and white gray tone, and the sketch cards will be full color. So anyway, hey, thank you so much for dropping on by, and till the next time, right? Keep that art flowing.